Okay, so today we're going to talk about the three main ways that you can write your rhymes. The way I see it, there's three basic ways you could do it. You could handwrite it, you could write it on your BlackBerry iPhone, or you could do the Jay-Z, Wayne type of way, do it in your head. So let's break that down and get a little in-depth. I'm Drew Morrissey, and this is How to Rap.
Alchemist, you know me, man. I'm the type of nigga that write rhymes right on the spot in the studio as soon as I hear the track. You know what I'm saying? Word, but I wanted to bring a couple of books to the studio today, man. I found these shits up in the crib, man, in boxes, man. I don't even remember.
Okay, so today we're going to talk about the overarching ways in which most rappers use their writing. How exactly do they write? What is their exact tactics? What are my tactics? So the first one would be, of course, to handwrite it. Write it down in a notebook with a pen, you know, really get gritty, get very 80s, 90s with it. And I used to do this. This is how I first started to rap. I have boxes of rhymes and notebooks and little fucking pads and shit like that. So there's no hate on that one. There are several major MCs, people that I feel like everybody looks up to who do this, some to this day. Those names would be people like Eminem, Nas, and before he passed, Tupac. These are probably the three main guys that are known for having the notebook. You can even look to Nas's song Book of Rhymes as a perfect example of his description of his rhymes. Eminem has several books in which he has pictures of his notepads, and he writes on napkins, and he'll write like 4 bars on a fucking newspaper and then save it. That kind of stuff. And of course, Tupac has many books with his poetry and rhymes handwritten. So the advantage to this being that you take your time, you can really feel the art that you're making, you know what I mean? There's nothing like feeling 3 or 4 pages of rhymes that you really worked your ass off on. Of course, you can scribble it out, and of course there's a record. You know, there's a physical record you have for the rest of your life that you worked real hard and wrote some rhymes. So I definitely like handwriting. It's a little bit slower than the other options, but I definitely endorse it. Now, number 2, that would be the Drake BlackBerry. You know what I mean? Obviously, Drake kind of had a little bit of controversy where people were having fun about his little BlackBerry thing, and he even has a pretty nice line on one of his songs where he says,
I could get money with my eyes closed. Lost some of my hottest verses down in Cabo. So if you find a BlackBerry with the side scroll, sell that motherfucker to any rapper that I know.
So yeah, that's a pretty cool line by Drake, you know what I mean? Like, good for him to make a joke about it. But this is actually increasingly common. It doesn't have to be a BlackBerry, obviously. It could be an iPhone or whatever you got, smartphone, any kind of phone, really, and you can write your rhymes there. And that's what I do currently. I write most of my rhymes on my iPhone. In fact, I write it on the Google Drive app so that it's uploaded automatically onto any other computer, anywhere where the internet has my verse. I ain't giving you my password, but I got verses on there. And so, you know, that's an option, and the advantages to that are you write a lot faster, you can edit a lot quicker, it's very easy to see your words, you ain't got to worry about handwriting or scribbles all over the place. Like, the disadvantage being that you tend to write a lot quicker, and you may not, your rhymes might actually take a hit because you're not spending so much time thinking about them, you're just typing away. So that's sort of the advantage and disadvantage of the iPhone, BlackBerry, Drake thing. Now, the last one would be 2 parts. Part A would be the Jay-Z Biggie thing. That's where you don't write anything down and you pretty much just think in your head and memorize your whole verse before you even rap it. And this is very famous, obviously, for Jay-Z and Big. Those are the type of dudes just stand in the corner, close their eyes, you know, and they come out and you have Can't Knock the Hustle. You know, go in the corner, close your eyes, and you have Juicy. You know, and I would have loved to have been there to see that. I mean, that's really incredible. Now, that's, of course, a very good skill to have. You can do it, I don't know how quickly they do it, but I assume they do it very quickly, so it's a good, efficient way to do rhymes. But for me personally, maybe for you too, I personally couldn't do that, man. I can't memorize that quick. I've tried before, but especially if I'm smoking anything in the studio or I'm drinking anything, like, hell no, I can't memorize 16 bars, man. Like, I barely sometimes remember the last 4 bars I wrote. So that's not for me, but maybe it's for you, and maybe you have like a talent for memorization the way that Jay-Z and Big do and did. Now, the part B would be, and this is increasingly common as well, is especially for rappers that have engineers and they can pause and start without having to do it themselves, that would be record like 4 or 5 bars or maybe 8 bars that you think of in your head, and then stop. Then think of 4 or 8 more bars, and then record again and stop, and then you have your verse. Now this is what Wayne is probably the most famous for doing, and you can see videos of him doing this on YouTube. And more recently, Kanye West has admitted that he does something similar to this. It's pretty efficient. If you have an engineer or somebody who can stop and start for you, that's like really the way to do it. I tend to not do this because I record my own music, and it's just a pain in the ass to like record 4 bars, stop, you know, manipulate my shit and start again. Like, I don't personally have an interest in that, so I haven't done that, but I do think it's really good, and a lot of rappers do it. So those are the 3 options. You can write it in a notebook, a la Eminem and Nas and Pac. It's a pretty good roster for writing it down. You can do it in the iPhone or the BlackBerry, a la Drake. Not a bad person to have in your team if you do that. I mean, he's pretty much the biggest rapper in the game right now. Or number 3, you can do the Jay-Z, Biggie, Kanye, you know, version of that, and that's not a bad roster either. So there's really no right or wrong answer, is there? These are all amazing MCs. These are all people you should be studying. These are all people that I have videos on, so check out my videos and just, you know, consider what's best for you. So I'm Drew Morrissey, and this is How to Rap.
So I had to memorize these rhymes until I got home, you understand? So, you know, once you memorize a sentence, it's like an exercise.
Y'all niggas can't be serious right now. I'm the all-time heavyweight champion of flowers. I'm leading the league in at least 6 statistical categories right now.